Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan Fordham, Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, all in the house tonight. Good to see you, brothers. What's good? What's good?
All is well.
Yeah, everything's going good.
You sure, hey, Marcus? Man. That's a big sigh you took there. I mean, damn.
You know sure? What's going well is Marcus at the beginning of the show with us.
Man,
it's going lovely.
I tell you. Beautiful thing.
Man, I feel like I'm back in college. Taking these classes.
Wow. Oh, okay. That's what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
College life. All right. Well, we got a good show planned for you guys tonight. A lot of things happening in on the highest of Seven Hills, in the HBCU sporting diaspora, in the SWAC. We will have on tonight's show coming up at the bottom of the hour. Head golf coach, Coach Mike Rice, will be joining us. It's been a minute since we talked to him. And then in hour two, the conversation interview with Coach Quinn Fordham Gray Sr. I know it's been a minute. We've had to shuffle schedules and zig and zag and get it all together, but we finally got Coach coming back. The post-spring game conversation. So it's been a minute since we've had Coach. Good to have him, and we got him. And so we will get into that. And so always good to have everybody in the chat room, wherever and however you're watching us. You could be watching us, of course, on the YouTube feeds, of course, the Black College Sports Network or the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page. Thank you, everybody watching, maybe on Facebook. There's always group folks watch us on Facebook. On Instagram Live, we're streaming on Instagram Live, also streaming on Twitter. So wherever and however you're watching us, thank you for tuning in and joining the show. All right, before we get into a little extra, shout out to Kelvin and the Avengers, who was on Fat Mouth Sports, and saw y'all doing your thing. Got it in. Any post show comments from the way too early prediction show, Kelvin, that you want to share?
No, not really. I mean, I said what I said.
Okay. Not backing down from nothing, huh?
No, it's way too early.
Wait. All right. Well said. Let's go through the shout outs as we like to do around this time in the show. Of course, let's see. Kelvin, how are you the first one in? How's that possible? That's not even right. What up, Ken? Ken checking in. Ken Rozier checking in. Bull also coming in early. Appreciate you, Bull. Kev from Tally getting it in, checking in early. Ezekiel Love, good to see you, brother. Thank you for all the support that you give to the Black College Sports Network, and see him in a lot of places. Edwin Moore as well. Appreciate you. Good evening. Mary 305, representing down in South Florida. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber as well, Mary. Appreciate you. Little baby in the house, checking in. My brother Tony, good to see you, brother. Thanks for checking in.
Hi, and let me just say, I pray that you peace and grace be upon you as you continue your journey with a new reality, brother. Love you. Pray for you, classmate.
Amen. I know it too well. So, Meredith, good to see you, Meredith. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber. Good to see you. Tamara T, thank you for being a JBN subscriber as well. Thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Marvin Allen, checking in, Marvin. Fat Mouth Sports, Troy, good evening. Thank you for checking in. Karen Griffin from the West Coast. I was listening to something. I think it was some old Mac 10 and Ice Cube. The West Coast, what is it? The West Coast Connection?
West Coast Connection.
That's
oh my gosh.
I don't care what you say. That come on. I almost want to pull my little Kia Soul over and just start.
Ain't nothing but against the body.
Yeah, I'm like, boy, watch out. West Coast bangers. I'll tell you what, man.
Ooh, my joint on there was 3-time felon? Ooh, that was my joint.
Boy, I'm telling you, that's
I played that a couple weeks ago. It just came across my mind. I was like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, boy. Marcus pulling CDs out the crate, boy. Amen, boy. Good stuff. Doing a little flashback there. Let me see who else is in the building. Ashton Harris checking in. What up, Ashton? Good to see you, brother. Who else is in here? DIQ 813 checking in, probably from the Tampa area, I would guess, with that 813. Let me see who else is this. Miss Weasley or Wesley. Okay. I want to get the name right, but I'll probably mess it up. So thank you for checking in. What up, family? Appreciate you.
Teresa.
Okay. See, there was a lot of letters in there. And
turn your glasses on.
No, it's West Side Connection.
I'm doing that. What I say? That's not what I said. West Coast, West Side. Thank you for cleaning it up for me. Thank you. Joel Banks. What up, Joel? Thank you for checking in as well. V and Matt as well. Yep. NFL Draft Eve. Checking in. Alice McCullough from the 561 Palm Beach checking in. Good to see you, Alice, on Facebook. Thank you for checking in. Gail, thank you for being a JBN subscriber, Gail. Good to see you. Thank you for checking in as well. Will Wallace coming in. You got some new numbers for us, Will? What up? No? Okay. Just checking. Just curious. Let me see. What else? Other folks checking in as well. Chat room's moving. Good to see everybody coming in as well. Yeah, it is going to be a long night, Edwin. You have no idea. All right. Speaking of that draft, that's tomorrow, right? Starts tomorrow. This is going to sound, what we don't hear a lot of people, or we don't see a lot of stories running right this time, is the HBCU players getting drafted stories that we were accustomed to seeing the last few years. I think personally, a lot of folks have come to the acceptance of how the NFL does business, and that the best route for many of our players has been through free agency. But I could be wrong. Are you guys paying attention to the upcoming draft with any eyes on HBCU players getting drafted? Are you more nervous about what your Falcons are going to do? Where y'all at on the draft?
I'm not paying attention because I'm a Falcons fan.
You know y'all gonna mess this up.
Absolutely.
Just tell me which direction y'all gonna mess it up, so I can make sure to put a little pizza money on that direction. I know which way the Colts are gonna mess up, so I'm already playing that.
We'll probably pick whenever our first pick is. I don't even know when that is, but we'll probably get an offensive player instead of getting a pass rusher or a D tackle.
Right. Instead of you get an offensive lineman instead of a defensive end that you need.
Yeah, we got 5 wide receivers. That's pretty good.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, Troy. Trading the pick. Oh my God. Come on now. Well, anyway. Let's see. Via Matt. We start getting into the 6th, 7th round, and we start seeing where guys go. But
you don't want to get drafted again for our players, for HBCU players. If you don't go in the first 5, you don't want to get picked in the 6th and 7th. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to choose your team that really interested in you, going to give you a fair opportunity to make the team. Mm-hmm. That's the blueprint. And you got 4 of them who made it that way.
Yep. So we'll see. I got a good feeling that, our 2 offensive linemen who have really tore up the pre-draft workouts, Ashton Grable, Charles Davis, stand to be probably 2 of the more sought after players. And I still think there's going to be an avenue for running back to possibly get not drafted, but get an opportunity to play somewhere.
I don't know. There's a lot of running backs around. They have to be the right situation.
Yeah. All right. Before we, let's talk a little bit about some of the news that's floating around in HBCU sports and even in the SWAC. An article came out during the golf tournament last week. Actually, more so was an interview that SWAC Commissioner Dr. Charles McClellan had during the broadcast, where it was brought up that the league had actually voted unanimously 12-0 to end the practice of scheduling non-Division I or Division II, essentially non-NCAA teams in football beginning in 2027. So this is the last year that you will see the VUL, Virginia University of Lynchburg, homecoming tour, the Lincoln of California, which I don't even think I don't think
they don't have a team this year.
Yeah, no, I thought they kind of bowed out.
They're taking a year off supposedly.
That year may turn into a permanent staycation.
Yes.
And then, I think when I was looking at the article here, Southern's playing Louisiana Christian, Arkansas Baptist. Those are NAIA schools. U of Lynchburg, VU of Lynchburg, not. But what do you guys think of the decision to move to an NCAA mandated schedule? And is it drawing us closer to what I believe will be coming a 9-game conference schedule?
First of all, let me say, it's a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. You've heard me on this show talk before about the SWAC doesn't have enough. We have institutions that don't have the same goals. Therefore, you got you got a program that total athletic budget was less than $4 million, and then you got athletic budget that's $16 million. And so there's some commitments that are made. But for a program like being a rattler and being, a program like us, it matters because we look for multiple postseason opportunities when we are eligible. Mm-hmm. So if we don't win the SWAC East, then we want to be considered for the playoffs. And I believe we're the only SWAC school that has done that. With Coach Simmons when we played Southeast Louisiana. So for our fan base and our school, it matters. But I did watch a interview Perry White did with Grambling's AD. and he was pretty frank. And Zach McKinnell, Blue, he was making a point that it didn't go far enough if you want to be considered for at large in NCAA playoffs. Mm-hmm. And he was saying the D2s need to be eliminated. And Travion Scott was real direct in saying, he don't care about that, and his fan base don't care about that. And
don't care about what?
The NCAA playoffs or PWI competition.
Yeah.
So, his decision was a financial one. And, he'd rather play Tuskegee at home than playing Texas Commerce, who they played in the home and home. But I personally think that at the very least, the SWAC should mandate only one Division II game, and then everything else has to be at the Division I level. As you know, there's several SWAC schools that play 2 Division IIs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for me, competition matters, and just because some schools have this choice or the decisions, like the ones who play still on Thanksgiving, where they can't even be considered. Southern, Grambling, Alabama State can't even be considered for at large in the NCAA, and because both of their schedule as well as playing on Thanksgiving. So I'm hopeful that it's a great step for to get our RP up and be taken a little bit more serious outside of HBC circles, because for me that matters. And I hope they'll take it a step further and limit us to at least only one Division II game.
Marcus, what are your thoughts? Marcus, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, sorry.
Same thing. I mean, it improves the overall conference viability, strength of schedule. And if you look at the moves that are being made now within the past year, and even something we're going to get to a little bit later, it appears as though all of those are in a thrust to make sure the conference is not only on stable footing, making revenue, but also that we're upping our game as it relates to not having any excuses or providing any excuses to kids.
Boy, go ahead. The chat gonna get you for that, Marcus. The chat gonna get you for that, boy. I'm telling you, boy.
But just for strength of schedule, strengthen overall conference perception, whether it's on paper or on the field.
I think we at some point, and I hate to make a blanket statement because there are HBCUs with different interests. So I'm glad Dr. Travion Scott said what he said. His fan base recognizes, and part of that is because they've been involved in that because of the way the NCAA playoff format is set up. Their school has not been available to play for nearly 50 years, right? So to them, it's no big deal. Now, for our university, because we won the first 1AA FCS national championship, we did have success in the playoffs as the only HBCU really to have the kind of success where we got to the Final Four and had playoff wins in the 90s. No other school can say that. Our fan base, and there's a segment that still feels like we understand, I think we do, that the system is not structured for our schools, but we still hold out hope. Like what you just said, Kelvin, you still hold out hope somewhere in the far corners of your mind that one day the system is going to change and work out in our favor, where if we don't go to the SWAC championship game, we can make it to the playoffs and that it'll be an advantageous route for us. And I just don't think until the NCAA changes the playoff schedule, which I think given all the changes that are happening, I know a lot of changes are happening at the FBS level, and you're losing FCS schools to the FBS. I think somebody within the FCS, and I don't even know how they structured in the NCAA, but somebody is going to have to really say, well, if we move our calendar back, if we move our start of our playoffs, just moving the start of the playoffs to the week after Thanksgiving, just think what it does and who it opens the door up for, right? It opens it up to a lot more teams by 1 week.
How many more?
What lot more teams? And
well,
out of those teams,
the entire Southwestern Athletic Conference for one.
And how many of those teams actually
and the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference
going to be considered?
Well,
is the juice worth is the juice worth the squeeze kind of thing?
Well, look at this past year. Would Alabama? Is it inconceivable to think that Alabama State had the playoffs not started a week later, had Alabama State not been deserving of an opportunity in the playoffs? They probably would have got in. I mean, my thoughts. I don't know.
No, they wouldn't, because they played 2 Division IIs.
Okay, so then there you go. So they were limited by that fact,
right?
But there was
with the FCS, would they give up starting the playoffs on a holiday weekend where you kind of have a captive audience? At least everybody's holiday weekend. So there's a lot of things that benefit to kicking it off that weekend as well. So I don't know if there will be enough momentum or to be able inertia for them to want to change that start, because there's other teams who consistently qualify that are able to accommodate that start date.
And look at the FBS, what they're doing. You know, week 0 is a thing now, so the season is starting earlier. And the reason that the FBS is doing it is so that they can try to make the playoffs all finish by January 1st and have the championship game a week later, which makes sense, instead of having these 3-4 weeks off in between playing these bowl games, playoff bowl games. So I don't know if that makes sense, to be frank. Business sense.
And see, so
if they're going to go for it.
If you ask me, what would I rather win? I mean, I don't know if one is better than the other. I don't know one is better than the other. Is one really better than the other?
I'll put it this way. I understand the financial difference, but I'm a competitor. So when I say I'm the best, I want to be the best, not just HBCUs. So this has always been my stance, though. I have no problem with celebration. I have no problem with the Celebration Bowl at all. But I would, if you ask me which one I prefer the playoffs.
But see, here's the thing. How can you be prepared for the playoffs when you don't schedule playoff teams in the non-conference?
I think Tremaine Jackson addressed that. I 100% agree. That's the whole purpose. What other reason? And here's the dichotomy of the contradiction with what the conference voted for, in my opinion, SWAC. So we don't care about the playoffs, right? We're a Celebration Bowl league. Mm-hmm. So why does it matter if we play NCAA D2 or non-NAIA? Why does it matter?
Well, it matters. Okay, that new thing called SWAC TV is why it matters. If we really want to be honest with ourselves, because nobody wants to watch insert SWAC school play VUL. You don't want to watch that. The numbers show you don't want to watch it. You barely go to those games. So who's gonna watch that on TV? Nobody.
Go to what games?
Okay.
Because
we play
what I'm going to say,
you play the non-Division I, Division II teams. You don't go to those games.
Outside of the FAMUs, Jackson State, Southerns of the world, ain't nobody going to no games at home at the other schools either. Valley ain't getting past 2,000 regardless.
So then it becomes, and the great equalizer becomes the power of television and eyes watching screens, right?
Who gonna watch those games, man? Outside of us.
That's the point. Nobody's watching those games. So why play? So don't schedule those games and play games that people are going to watch.
Well, what they're gonna watch is the bowl is our classic game. So feature your classics every week. That would be the smart thing to do.
All right. Let's put a pin on the conversation. When we come back later in the show, we'll get into more of it. But we're going to hit our first break and come back with our first guest. Coach Mike Rice is in the waiting room waiting on us. So we're going to talk to Coach about the SWAC tournament, how the team played going into it. I know the results was not what they had hoped for. But I don't believe the season is over, and there's even another big fish out there to catch. So we'll talk to Coach on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
All right, there we go. All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. And joining us right now is none other than the head golf coach himself, good friend of the program returning, Coach Mike Rice. Coach Rice, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm great. How you guys doing? It's been a while.
Yeah,
It's
been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, Coach.
It's been a busy semester, so it's good to be kind of on the down, at least. Like you said, we do have one more event we'll talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, obviously, the Rattlers, our squad finished runner-up at the SWAC tournament this year. Had a tough start. head scratching day 2, which I'll let you get into, and then day 3 we woke up and we kicked it in, but we didn't close enough to catch. I think it was UAPB who ended up winning. So let's start there with the recap of the tournament and just kind of the up and down of those days.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'm glad we're a few days past that because I did go in hiding for a few days. I needed to do that to just kind of step away because we were really disappointed, honest. Our goal at the beginning of the year, as I told you guys, was to win the SWAC championship. This is probably the best team we've ever had, no question. We dominated HBCU golf all year. We won all 4 events that we played in. So we went in, I'll say this, we weren't playing our best golf. We knew that going in, but we were still finding ways to win, which is nice. And at the end, that's what you're trying to do. We looked really good in the practice round. I thought, going in, I really felt good. Our top 2-3 guys looked really, really sharp. So I'll say this, UAPB played unbelievable golf, best golf they played all year. And they have some really talented guys over there. They still have some guys from there a couple years ago championship. They played their butts off, but at the end, we just didn't do enough to win it. We did, as you said, the first round we didn't play bad. They played really well. That was by far the best they played all year. That's what I told the guys. Like, look, we're 6 back, but that's nothing. We can make that up. We didn't play our best round. And then the second round, we were playing better. I know you guys saw live scoring, but you're getting it way after the fact. We actually were playing really well until the last 2 holes. And the last 2 holes, we gave up 9 shots and ended up tied with them for the day, which was crazy. That's really where we lost the tournament. But again, we thought we were – I mean, quite frankly, when we got done, I thought we were going to be farther back than 6 shots. And so knowing that, when we got done, we really felt good, like we were still in it. And I really believed that we had guys that could catch them. And there's some things we need to do better in the SWAC championship, some things that coaches are going to talk to them about, just trying to enhance the championship. But we didn't realize, because it's a 4-hole, you're getting live scoring every 4 holes. We didn't realize we actually had caught them. But we were still in chase mode. We're thinking we're still chasing. So we were playing a little more aggressive than we normally do, thinking that we had to chase. And then we actually ended up giving up a few shots at the end there that kind of hurt us. But I mean, shoot, they had one of their guys that eagled the last hole 3 days in a row. You can't do nothing with that. That's just good golf. Yeah. The whole 600 par, eagles, it hits it like 2 feet on the last day under the pressure is pretty good. But we didn't take care of business. We had 27 3-putts in 3 days. And one thing that we focus on a lot is hitting greens in regulation, giving ourselves birdie opportunities. We did that. We just didn't putt well. And it's unfortunate to play so good all year. And the one tournament that matters the most is the one you don't play your best golf at. And it's golf. I mean, that's how golf is.
Yep.
But look, we're back at it. That's where I just came from now. We're back at qualifying. The one thing I do is we keep the pressure on, and we like to make pressure situations a normality when we play. So we're literally right back out. We're back qualifying for the rest of the week to lead up to PGA Works, which we'll leave for next Friday.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Kelvin.
PGA Works, is that the HBCU championship or is that something different?
It is. That is the HBCU National Championship. It's formerly called the National Minority. When I played here at FAM, that's what we called it, the National Minority Championship. About 6-7 years ago, they changed it to PGA Works. The PGA of America puts it on. I mean, again, our goal is to win the SWAC championship, but this event is by far the best event we play in every year. They treat it like a national championship. It's an unbelievable experience for the guys. Golf course is first class. So we're excited about that. Again, we needed some days to take off to get over this. I told them, I mean, we haven't lost the championship in 3 years. So that feeling, I forgot what that is. It sucks. I didn't like it. The guys didn't like it, and they're out there working their butt off to get back and we're hoping to go out. PJ Works is going to be tough. Howard should be there. They're a really good team. North Carolina A&T is another one that's really good. Alabama A&M will be there. It's going to be a lot of competition. But look, we're going to get back to work and see what we can do to finish the season off.
Coach, I didn't realize Pine Bluff has won like 3 out of the last 5 championships in golf.
Correct. It's us and them.
Yeah. Okay.
It's us and them. Yeah.
So even though we disappointed, that we didn't finish number 1, we did win like 2 tournaments going into the SWAC, and we won, like you say, 4 or 5. So just kind of recap the season, and outside of that disappointment, talk about the season.
Yeah, hopefully we'll come on and talk about the national championship next, right? That's right. The goal. I don't want to get ahead, but that's what we're looking at. We won 4 times, and I can say this. I had a conversation with one of our HBCU coaches the other day, and he was talking about and we actually won. Tennessee State was the coach, and we were talking, and we won their event and finished really well to win it. We had some young guys. It was a different lineup. I was trying to get an idea who was going to play in SWAC when we were doing it, so we threw some young guys out there and still ended up winning it, which was nice. But he talked about how hard it is to win tournaments, and it's really hard. Like there are coaches that have had great careers that never won a college tournament. It's really hard, and we've won 4, back-to-back years. We won 4 tournaments, actually 5 last year because we won SWAC as well. So these guys, they're doing a great job. Again, winning 1 is something. We won 4 times again this year. We won all 4 HBCU events. We won the HBCU Bridgestone Invitational early in the year. Then we won the Arcus Championship. Then we turned around and won Alabama State and Tennessee State this semester, which were good fields. All the HBCUs are there. So, it's been a successful year. There's no question, but it's still a sour note. And it really, again, we've never played in the SWAC tournament and not finished outside the top 2. So, that's saying a lot, and that's to be proud of. But we're trying to win championships, man. It's not a good feeling when you come home empty-handed. Yeah. It was a quiet ride, and it's normally not. Normally, I'm trying to get them to shut up, and they don't want to. But it was a quiet ride. We didn't like it, and then we don't like the feel of it. And we're going to try to go down to West Palm Beach and bring back a trophy.
All right, go ahead, Marcus.
Great. I know somebody had asked in the chat, so you just said the PJ Works is in West Palm Beach this year, correct? Not Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's West Palm Beach, so it rotates where it's at. Every 4 years it does go back to Jacksonville where we play TPC Sawgrass. That is something that's in the contract. But this year it's at the park, which is down in West Palm Beach, and amazing. I went down there 4 or 5 years ago for recruiting. It's an amazing golf course.
Okay, appreciate you clarifying on that. Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, Coach. Actually, I have a double question. I guess the first one, what is the biggest, learning you've had from this season and from the team as you're going into the PGA Works tournament?
You know what? Again, this is the best team I've ever had. There's no question. We go into, something that they did different that we recommend as coaches was to have an all SWAC team that wasn't based on the tournament. Normally they do all SWAC based on the tournament, top 10, get it. To us coaches, we're like, that doesn't make sense. It's a whole year. Well, we had 4 of the top 10 on the all SWAC team. 3 of them were 1, 2, 3 in the conference. We knew that. We knew what kind of team we had. And then our 4th guy was a second team all SWAC. But it's golf. I think the big thing I learned, no matter how much we prepare, and one of my big things, like I said, is greens and regulation, giving ourselves as many opportunities to make birdies as we can. You could do that. And as I told them, if we beat the field in that, we can't lose. Well, that's not true. If you don't putt well, you can lose. And I'm going to be quite frank, the golf course it hurt us too. It wasn't in the best shape. The greens were struggling a little bit. They did everything they could to get it as good as it was. But it definitely hurt what we do and our type of golf we like to play. The greens not being the best kind of hurt us. But I think the biggest thing I learned, Marcus, is it doesn't matter how good the team is. you got to be peaking at the right time. And not saying that we didn't play well, we did, but we weren't peaking at the right time. And when you do that, they played the best golf they played all year. I mean, they ended up beating their average score. I mean, they were averaging 307 as a team for the year. The first round, they shot 287. That's 20 shots difference in one round, and then did the same thing the last two rounds. So, they were peaking, we weren't, but it ain't gonna change what we do. I still believe that we got to hit a lot of greens. We got to give ourselves a chance to make as many birdies as we can. But I think that's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter how good the team is. You got to be ready at the end.
Okay. And the second question, not necessarily on the team, but I guess it may impact the team, which is why I'm asking the question. I thought I saw an article maybe a week, maybe 10 days ago about, I think, a private equity firm or something buying, I guess the course that was up for sale. Is that going to impact the team in any regard? Or was it the same course or is it a different course? Just to make sure I'm clear. Yeah,
so that is Capital City. And it's actually, from what I understand, the Rays owner is the one that's buying it. He is investing into it. It's going to be redone. The golf course will be completely redone. I've heard upwards of $30 to $35 million that he's going to put into that to redo it. It absolutely will impact us because they want that to be our home course as well as we do. It's going to be an amazing country club. It will definitely be different for Tallahassee. The architect, I cannot remember his name. The architect that's coming in to do it is considered one of the best in the world. So he'll be the one to come in and completely put a whole new facelift on Capital City, which is going to make it an amazing golf course. We want to eventually host our tournament there, host other tournaments there, and obviously that's where we'll practice and play. So that's the goal. And it's going to be amazing from what I hear.
Okay. Thank you. That cleared it up for me.
Yes, sir.
And Coach, I want to go back to the scheduling and just some of the events surrounding the HBCU tournaments, because I know, and I'm curious. I know. Okay, for example, last year we encountered this where we won the SWAC, but couldn't compete in the PGA Works event, which we won the previous year. So we couldn't necessarily defend that title. Have you and other coaches kind of talked about creating some kind of team scoring system with all of these various HBCU events in order to really kind of claim an HBCU national champion? If there a way to create a point system where you got these 4 events and you play in these events, and then maybe you throw in what you do in the conference schemes. I don't know. I'm throwing something out there as I heard you talk about it, and I thought about the fact that wow, we played in all these events, but like you said, your desire was really probably to win the SWAC,
right?
But winning the SWAC keeps us from playing in the PGA Works.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't. And big one is that we don't, in some of these HBCU events, you don't get all the HBCUs there. And the reason for that is a lot of it's scheduling, right? Because of the way schedules work, you may have, and I'm just going to use Howard as an example. Their schedule is very similar to ours. They try to do some of the Power 4 schools as well. It really helps a lot with rankings. And so when you're trying to get those ranking points up, which obviously even for conference, rankings help because they're seeded. So you get the better tee times, you get the better, better practice round time. So it helps with that as well. But you're always, obviously, the guys are looking at rankings. They know I don't care, because at the end of the day, we want to win SWAC. So we're not going to get an automatic bid, but the guys look at the rankings, and it is important. Don't get me wrong. Like, we want to see our HBCUs ranked as high up as we can, but in those HBCU, you may not have all the schools there at one time. So it'd be really hard to do what you're saying as far as, and to say this too, the PGA Works, we consider it, I don't want to say that. Actually, the NCAA considers it our national championship now. It used to be the opposite. It was not considered a championship. We called it our championship because we had every HBCU in the country there. The PGA America put it on. So whoever won that tournament beat all the HBCUs. But now, because it's considered a championship, you can either, if you win your conference, go to regionals, or you can go to PGA Works. Look, obviously we gotta represent the conference. It's the right thing, and it is. And again, regionals is an amazing experience. But I can tell you, this PGA Works event is unbelievable. There were schools last year. They played at Whistling Straits, which is a PGA Ryder Cup golf course. There was a lot of kids like, Coach, do we really have to go to regionals? Because I'd rather be at Whistling Straits. And then I remember watching it on TV because it will be on the Golf Channel. They televise it. And I remember watching that weather going, I sent a text to my guys, thank you guys for winning, because I did not want to be out in that weather. That weather was awful. But again, it is our national championship. The PGA of America treats it like that. It is literally they treat it just like a major. It is an unbelievable experience. Most of my guys haven't been there because, well, the guys from 3 years ago, they're gone. So this is a new experience for most of them.
So before they claimed it or made it a championship, you could have gone to both.
Correct. Yeah, wow. Absolutely. We did. So you would go to, conference, and then they would have that in between regionals, which was nice. And then you could play in both, which was, that was ice cream on the cake for us.
I want to bring up the, you not necessarily, I'm curious to hear some of those thoughts about the tournament, but I want to talk about SWAC TV and the fact that this year, for the first time, the men and women's golf tournament could be seen on SWAC TV. I don't know if you've had a chance to, you probably have gone back and watched, but what are your impressions and thoughts of, he's shaking his head. Am I stepping
too soon?
No.
Oh,
I have not gone back to watch it.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. What are your thoughts on a tournament of this caliber being available on SWAC TV, and just the possibilities that more golf tournaments will actually be represented on SWAC TV? Like, golf is actually going to be available on part of this big platform of SWAC TV, where we talk about all these other sports, but your sport is actually a part of SWAC TV.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, right? It's a live sport. How many people out there that are watching that actually play this sport, right? How many are still playing football? It ain't a lot, right? It ain't a lot playing baseball anymore. But golf, a lot of the viewers can relate to the game, for one, right? They're out there doing it on their weekends. I think it's great. To be honest, I forgot they were out there because we were so into the tournament. Obviously, I saw them and would. I found out that I was seen talking to a rules official. I was like, I hope y'all couldn't hear what I said. Told you couldn't. That was a good thing. But no, I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for the viewers to get a chance to see the talent that these young guys have and young women, to see the talent they have. These guys are really good. Like, we have some really good players, not just at FAMU, but a lot of the other SWAC schools as well. So to be able to kind of showcase these guys is great. That's what we're trying to do. I'm gonna tell you, our success has been so good that it's next year we have the best schedule we've ever put together at FAMU. What that does, that helps me to recruit kids in here. They want to play. Yes, I will always support the HBCU events. We need to be there. FAMU, Howard, we're the top two. North Carolina A&T is another really good school. We need to be at the HBCUs to support the whole network. But we also need to be out there playing in the Power Four, so these young guys that have aspirations of playing professional golf really get to see what that looks like and compete against that top level competition. So I'm excited for the schedule. I know my guys are. We'll be playing Florida State next year. We've been trying to do that for a while, and the fact that they invited us is huge for our guys. We have a few big events where we'll be playing some really high level power fours, some on TV. Folds of Honor is the first event of the year where you'll be able to see us on the Golf Channel. Like I said, PJ Works will be on the Golf Channel. You get a chance to see the guys out there as well. So, like you said, the television part, it's great. The fact that SWAC is coming along with it, because we got some other networks out there that are doing some live stuff with some tournaments. So the fact that SWAC is coming in too is great. It's great. I think it's great for the viewers as well.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, boy, you a real rattler, boy. You sound like me. We were just having this discussion with football. So I appreciate you. You're right. We got a really good team, and some of those guys have an opportunity to perhaps qualify to go to the next level, and so they need to see all competition.
Right.
And so I appreciate that mindset. Now, I got two questions. Question number one, you talked about scheduling.
Yep.
And I was just wondering, have you thought about finding a course in Florida to be able to host a tournament next year or in the near future?
Yes. No. I would love to host. Like, we did it right before COVID, and we did it on the coast at a golf course very close. Carabel, it's in Carabel, St. James Bay, great golf course. Was a great place to host. They had condos on the 18th hole, restaurant where we could feed the kids. I mean, it was a great event, and then COVID hit and messed that up. Around here right now, and I've even thought about maybe even Jacksonville. We have some friends in Jacksonville where it might be a possibility to host. Obviously, I would love to do it here in Tallahassee. Right now, we just don't have a golf course where we can host that level of competition. We don't want to do it. We want a first-class tournament. Like I said, with Capital City doing their thing, I think it's something definitely to do in the future. Sooner than later, absolutely. I think we could bring in some really good competition to our event. I think we could pull some mid-major, maybe even Power 4 schools to come and showcase. But how close we're there, I don't know how long it's going to take Capital City. Southwood treats us really good. We play there. It's got to get in a little better shape before we could do something like that. I was actually having that conversation today with my assistant, how I would love to, even Southwood could be a championship golf course. We just got to get it in better shape. So to answer your question, yes, we've talked about it. It's just, it's not in the cards right now, but I hope soon, because it definitely would be. I think with what we've been able to do of recent, I think we could pull some really good universities in town.
Okay, now question two centers around your team. And if I remember correctly, I think you all been, at least one of your athletes is being included with Thing Exchange and so talk about the fact that you're getting resources now to kind of go directly to your guy and how to help your program.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of that goes back to the TV, right? We were at the Folds of Honor last year. And the young guy you're talking about played in the Folds of Honor, which was on TV. I mean, look, first of all, the camera loves the young guy. That's number one. When you see him, he's a likable kid. And then right after that, we played in the Stevens Cup, which was again on TV, and people again fell in more love with him. I will tell you, Sasha Robinson is probably, I keep saying this, and the guys on the team sometimes get jealous because you talk about a player too much, but talent-wise, he's the best we've ever had here. There's no question. Like, we got to continue to groom him and grow him and develop him. But talent-wise, just the things he can do. He's 6'5". You don't see 6'5" golfers. Everybody thinks he plays basketball here, but he played basketball in high school, but we're done with that. It's golf only. But he really has. He hits the ball really far, obviously at 6'5". But what impressed me more than anything, he has these soft hands. And, the great thing was people saw him on TV, and look, so did other schools too. And so don't think for 1 minute. I know there was people talking to him. And so it was great that our people saw the same thing and came in to say, hey, we don't want you to leave FAMU. We want you to stay here and finish out here. And that was a huge, I think, in him coming back for sure. Was having that deal. Don't get me wrong, he loves FAMU, he loves what we're doing. But Sasha's good. I'm telling you, I think he really has a good chance of playing at the highest level. Like he just has those intangibles that are important in golf to play higher. So yeah, like you said, and having that, absolutely. People know when you get the the talent coming in, that definitely helps you recruit. So that fan exchange was huge. Vaughn Wilson, shout out to him for doing what he did.
Great.
Go ahead, Marcus. If you would close it up with Coach Rice.
Yes, actually, I wanted to ask. I know that you're looking forward to the tournament the next week or so, but how many people do you have coming back for next year to make a good run at the SWAC tournament?
We have 3 graduating. So we have 7 coming back. Those 3 are in the starting 5. So Coach Rice is definitely out there recruiting heavy. The portal will be opening up. I'm ready come May 1st to see what that looks like. But we have some young people that really, and that's the other. I mean, success and FAMU brings people wanting to come here. I'm saying no more than I say yes. We're being strategic in who we bring in. There's a certain player that we want here. But those 3 that we're leaving they all 3 are in the starting 5. So we got 2 starters coming back, and I say that it's a really deep team. So I got 2 or 3 others that are ready to step up at any moment. So I still feel like going into next year, if I don't bring anybody else in, we're still the team to beat. I really believe that. We have such great young talent that, but we'll find other guys to bring in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Coach. Hey, Coach, how do you say Fallon Fawn's last name, Coach?
You ain't getting me.
Come on, Coach. You're going to leave me to keep messing it up every time.
Look, you know what? When we go to tournaments, I'm only one person. Somebody at the Folds of Honor actually said his name. He's the only one to even try. Everybody else goes, how do you say it? I said, I have no idea. I couldn't, when Putter says it, because that's what we call him. That's his nickname, Putter. I have no idea what he just said. None. So it's Putter. So every time they announce it, it's Putter V. That's all they say, Putter V. So I have no idea, Bryan.
Putter V. All right.
It's Putter.
All right, I
will tell you, keep an eye on that young guy. That young guy can play. He's from Thailand. I would bet money he will play professional golf in Asia. He's that good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're trying to set that coach up, Bryan.
Man, look,
Bryan.
I figured you've been around him enough that we would have got
him
to record it.
Putter
V. See,
Putter V.
I was going with P. Baboon. See, I was just kind of like that's how I was, but okay. So Putter V. There we go.
Putter
All
V.
right.
We got it.
There it is. I like that. Okay. Again, just to let everybody know, the men's golf season is not over. Not this weekend, but the next weekend, May 1st and 2nd, the PGA Works Collegiate Championship will take place down in where again, Coach?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
West Palm Beach, Florida. Name of the course?
It's called The Park.
The Park. Okay, so for any of you Rattlers down in South Florida, you want to take a chance, go support. I mean, it's a good group, and I'm sure it's a nice course. It's probably a nice visuals and everything, and it'll be a first-class event because the PGA is behind it, and so get a chance to go support the Rattlers and get an opportunity to bring back another national championship.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Coach said he likes winning championships, so don't we all?
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach Rice, again, thank you. Congrats. The season's not over. We look forward to seeing you guys finish strong. And as always, we appreciate your time tonight, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Good job, Coach. Thank you.
Talking with y'all again. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. All right. Good stuff there with Coach Rice. All right, let's take a short break because on the other side, we keep the train rolling with our head coaches. Coach Quinn Fordham Gray, Sr. is in the waiting room waiting on us, so we don't want to keep him too long. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically Black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU stories with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here, and joining us is none other than the head ball coach himself, Coach Quinn Fordham Gray, Sr. Coach, good to have you back on O&G. How you doing tonight?
Doing well, man. Long day, brother. Just got done with the FAMU Awards and all that good stuff. So I was on my way home and said, you know what, let me go in my office so I can get on this, this Zoom and get this thing done with you guys.
Man, Coach, we appreciate you making time for us tonight. Let's start. I want to start with one of the latest news regarding from a conference perspective as it relates to the announcement that starting in 2027 that the SWAC and all of the members voted unanimously to do away with playing non-NCAA Division I, II opponents. What's your thought and take on that decision?
I mean, it's really something that, in my opinion, obviously just joining the conference, but in my opinion, that's something that probably should have been implemented and instituted for the conference in terms of just from a competitive standpoint. You know what I mean? I get wanting to have what some people will call the proverbial tune-up games and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't know if you're doing any justice to your team in terms of playing teams that you know for a fact can't compete. So for me, it's right up our alley in terms of playing Division I or Division II schools, because at the end of the day, you got some Division II schools that are really going to compete with you and really give you a chance to give you a really good game, as in my team last year. You know what I mean? I thought we came in here and did a good job of competing, playing against FAMU and all that good stuff. So you have some really good Division II schools, Division II teams that can actually come in here and beat you if you ain't careful. So with the implementation of that, I think it's going to do the conference some good, especially from a standpoint of postseason outside of the Celebration Bowl.
As it relates to scheduling, and obviously, you know, we understand where we are in the SWAC and what the end goal is. But how do you put forth, or how do you manage your non-conference as you think about scheduling? You know, obviously this year's schedule was sort of already, most of it was probably set prior to you coming on board. But, and if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. But as you think about non-conference, what are your goals when you look at the non-conference? And we know what the conference means, but when you think about the non-conference, what are the goals there?
I think the goal is to really put your team in a situation to play some quality competition, to really measure where you are as a team and be able to measure your team early. Because that's really that's going to give you the telltale sign of the things that you got to work on throughout the season and moving forward in the season. You know, my goal is to make sure that I put our team through the gauntlet and through the rigor of playing quality teams, because I don't want us to go out there and have the confidence of beating an NAIA team or a team that ain't NCAA certified, and then go into a game against a North Carolina Central or somebody like that with all the confidence just to get our head beat in because we didn't play anybody of quality. So for me, it's about putting our guys in situations to have to compete, have to think while they're competing against these people, and put their best foot forward to win the football game.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
All right, Coach. You mentioned the FANG Awards, or it was the day. Kind of tell the Rattler Nation what the FANG Awards are, and tell us about any football-related awards that went out tonight.
With the FANG Awards, the FANG is a celebration of our student athletes and the athletic department. They do a tremendous job of celebrating over 300 student athletes that are here at Florida A&M University. They put on a nice event. This year's theme was sneaker ball. Stilettos and sneakers and stilettos. You know, the student athletes came dressed to impress. Ladies had on their dresses and the stilettos. The male student athletes had on suits and a combination of different things with their sneakers. So it was a really nice event to attend. Obviously, I've been a part of it when it was its first inception back in like 2011, 2012. But they've really taken that thing to another level. But tonight, man, it seemed like it was about the women. I want to say if they gave out 17 awards, 15 of them went to the women. And softball wrapped up probably about 8 total awards. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
when it came down to football, Nayron Jenkins got the Legacy Award from the 220 Club. The young man from the track team that had that viral moment with the guy from Grambling got the award for. He got the award for the moment of the year and all that good stuff. And then. You know, just to be honest, man, the males got left out this round. The women racked up track, softball, volleyball, women's basketball had some awards and things like that. So, but hopefully next year, man, we get a chance to get some get back and have some more males up in that thing. But they did a tremendous job of putting on that event, man, and the athletic department does a really good job of celebrating our student athletes, and I think it was a really good deal for them tonight.
Awesome. Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, Coach. I guess I want to circle back to your comments on Bryan's question. With a few new teams that have moved up from Division II to FCS, I'm thinking West Georgia and West Florida within the last couple of years.
Is he on mute? I can't hear him.
No, I can hear him.
Okay.
Marcus, check you good? Go ahead, Marcus.
Yes, I was going to ask with a couple regional teams that have moved up to FCS from Division II, West Georgia.
I can't hear him at all.
Okay.
Huh.
Assad. Marcus, go. Let me see. Type your question in, Marcus, in the chat, and then I will ask Coach. I know it's odd. We can hear Marcus on our end. For some reason, Coach isn't getting that your audio for some reason. Not sure why, but everybody else is hearing.
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. I can't hear him for some reason.
Okay. Marcus, okay. He's gonna type that in. Let me pivot. I'm gonna go to. I know Marcus is gonna come back with his question. I'm gonna pivot back to spring game, spring game, and after you had a chance to actually watch the film, and looking back on it, what things were you pleased with? What things you say, okay, that's something that we want to address and we want to work on? What's that evaluation like with you and your coaches?
For us, I think the competitiveness of the game was what I'm more impressed with. You know what I mean? Because offensively, the scoring system was designed for it to be a competitive game, for defense to have some opportunity to score some points outside of scoring touchdowns, which, when you have a team that you really can't separate in two and have an offense on one side, an offense on another, and so same thing with a defense, you got to find creative ways to make the game competitive and keep the defense more interested, because if you just allow the offense to score points, there's really no interest if they don't have a chance to make the game interesting. So we came up with a scoring system that I utilized back at my old place that allowed for the defense to do some good things and score some points. And there at the end made it really competitive. It gave us some situational football to allow us to play with 4-minute offense and have defense have to stop the offense in that 4 minute and try to get the ball back to allow us to do a 2-minute drill. But, fortunately, the offense was able to get some first downs and keep the clock moving to sort of kind of run it out. But, the biggest thing that I'm really looking forward to is the competitiveness of these guys. You know what I mean? I think that's been one of the, I want to say, knocks on the guys from last year's team. Maybe they didn't show the competitiveness, but that's neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, I think it's all about motivation. I think they're motivated to do things. Obviously, we had some news that came down last week, but, with all that being said, you got one guy that hopped in the portal. You know what I mean? So, and to be honest with you, nobody hopped in the portal that we didn't want to keep, to be honest with you. So when it comes down to that, man, the people that want to be here and the people that we wanted to keep are still here. So we're looking forward to moving past these things and making sure that we're taking FAMU football on a trajectory back to where it needs to be. But the biggest thing I think we need to make sure that we're working on is the pre-snap penalties and things of that magnitude. Some of the penalties that we saw were egregious. Especially from a pass interference standpoint, the DBs got a little handsy and things like that. And then the self-inflicted penalties are the ones, the false starts, the jumping off sides and things of that magnitude, things that we control. I can handle a holding call every now and again to save your quarterback from getting hit pretty hard or aggressive penalty with a receiver blocking downfield. He may just happen to get a guy in the back because he turned his back at the last minute. I can deal with those, but it's the pre-snap penalties that we can control that we definitely got to eliminate and get better at.
Okay, so Marcus's question, Coach, to kind of go back to, we were talking about scheduling, and he was mentioning the fact that there have been some former Division II schools that have moved up in the FCS over the past 2 to 3 years, like West Georgia, West Florida. Have you explored or thought about any plans to scheduling any of those teams, given their regionality to where we are, things of that nature?
Yeah, there's been some thought to it, but due to the, I'm gonna be candid here, due to the recent things that have happened with the program, we got some schools that are calling our kids that and talking to our kids that they shouldn't be talking to. So, for me, that's sort of kind of a knock on me wanting to play, because at the end of the day, we want to do things the right way, and we want to play against people that do it the right way as well. Because at the end of the day, we knew for a fact there was only guys that could hop in the portal for us were guys that had 1 year of eligibility left. But to go and try and call our recruits that we recently signed and things like that to try to get them to come to your campus or your university, that's just something that I frown upon. So, because we wouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, the people that you were able to call, that's who you should have been calling, and not the guys that you can't be calling. Because at the end of the day, the guys that are still in the boat are locked in, and we about to go to work. But there has been some thought about it, to answer your question, and maybe later on down the line we'll consider that. But West Georgia is definitely somebody that we'll definitely consider more in the present. But just those schools are making a tremendous jump to FCS, and they're looking for games, and I think regionally it does make sense for us to possibly try and get those schools on campus and make those a home and home.
Appreciate that. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, I'm going to tie this question together, two things, but they related. So I know now that spring is over, you got off-season activities, and you got camps coming up, and I know you're getting on the road to watch some of these high school athletes. So just talk about what your schedule look like for the month of May and some of the off-season things and your roster and where you are with your roster management.
Well, right now with our coaches and professional development, what we're doing this week, man, we're doing some professional development in-house. We have the coaches presenting to the staff their philosophies and how they teach their positions and coach their positions, because at the end of the day, we all are still learning the game of football, regardless of how much experience we have. There's always something to learn, because there's the different experiences and the level of experience and that we have in our room, man, is tremendous. And we're going to try and make sure that we share that wealth of knowledge with each other so that we all can be better for each other. So with that, every coach has an opportunity to present us positionally what they teach our guys, how they teach our guys, their philosophy, and why they do what they do. And we allow our GAs also to do that, because who knows, they may interview for a job one day, and this gives them the opportunity to get in front of a group of coaches and be able to present themselves in a way that they'll need to present themselves in front of a coach that may give them an opportunity. So right now, professional development is what we're doing. But next week, our guys do get on the road, starting with the 27 recruiting class and 28 recruiting class, which we've already started. But we get a chance to go out to these spring practices and start to get a look at these up and coming seniors and juniors to see who we want to sort of kind of covet over the next year, 2 years to come and be Rattlers and help us take us to the next level. Myself, I'll be here doing a lot of work, but I'll also get out there at some point to go see a few of these people and these few of these kids just to make sure. But at the end of the day, a head coach's job is never done, because there's some fundraising to do, and I'm going to be doing a little traveling with that. But then you got the month of June. We got our women's clinic on June 5th. Our helmets and heels for our community, local women that want to come out and learn the game of football and things of that magnitude. Enjoy some good food and some drinks and things like that. Have a good time learning about football. And then on the 6th, we got our prospect camp. Our first prospect camp here as a staff on June 6th. And then June 11th, we got our 7-on-7 and big man camp that we'll host right here on campus. That'll give some teams from around the state, from around the Southeast region, a chance to come on campus and compete against some of the top schools in the Southeast region in 7-on-7. And then give the O-line and D-line a chance to compete in some fun games and do some things against each other that'll give them an opportunity not to be left out, because it's just T-shirts and helmets when it's 7-on-7. So to give the offensive line and defensive line a chance to compete in some things. So for us, man, we're always working. We're still adding some people to the fold. We just had a commitment from a linebacker this last couple of days. We just got a commitment from a quarterback over the last couple of days. As soon as we get that ink to paper, we'll be able to release that and all that good stuff. So for us, man, the job never ends. We're always working. We're always continuing to try and make sure that we're bringing in the best talent that we can and making sure that we're putting our best foot forward to make FAMU what it needs to be.
All right, one follow-up to that. I know that the camps are a good way for players to get in front of you, the staff, and get looks and so forth. But I know some folks can't make it there, and Rattler Nation is everywhere, and they have nephews and cousins and
that's right.
that can play,
right.
that can actually play,
right.
that they want to direct to the program. So in that case, who should they be sending the information to?
Toriano Morgan is our assistant head coach. He's also our high school recruiting. He's our overall recruiting coordinator, but he more so handles the high school recruits. So Toriano Morgan is who they should be forwarding that information to. His email is Toriano TORIANO.Morgan@FAMU.edu. So feel free to flood his email his mailbox with emails to send us the best athletes that you can, because we're always evaluating. We're always looking for good talent.
Okay.
Hey, Coach Morgan is active on social too, so you can find him.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Hit him up on social. He's out there too.
That's right, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook for those who use Facebook. So he's very active. So you'll definitely be able to look him up.
I got a recruiting question here from Marcus. Now, Marcus says, my understanding is that Division II doesn't necessarily have a formal transfer portal window. Is that correct, or is that?
That's absolutely correct. A Division II student athlete can hop in the portal at any point, at any time that they so choose, which is unfortunate for those Division II coaches, because I know how that feels. Because you go through spring ball and you think your roster is set and things of that magnitude, and then some of these schools start poaching because they may have got some guys injured or whatever the case may be, or you get a guy that's just not necessarily happy with what he got going on and thinks he can get better, and decides to just hop in the portal. So that's the unfortunate part about the Division II level right now, that window doesn't sort of kind of relate to them. And I think that's one of the things, the last meeting that I was able to attend for Division II this past year was the talk of making the same window as Division I's have, if not the same window, somewhere around the same window, so they'll have the ability to keep their rosters and be able to build their rosters and not allow people to come poach their guys once spring is over or at any other time as well. So I think that at some point they're going to get to that in terms of a window, but right now it's a free for all in Division II.
So I think this is where his question was going. So given that and the fact that you have had that experience on the other side, but now you're on the Division I side, is there an advantage that you have to being a little more aware of that market? Do you have a little more sensitivity to that? What's your philosophy or your thoughts as it relates to any Division II guys that may be looking to move up? So
I have a little bit more sensitivity because I know how it feels, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to cut my nose off to spite my face. You know what I mean? Because if there's a good player that hops in the portal and is available, who am I not to evaluate him for my team, especially if he's going to be a guy that makes us better? Because we're always looking to get better. We're always looking to bring guys that are academically sound, that's going to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom. And those guys typically that get these opportunities coming from a Division II understand what it looks like to not necessarily have all of the bells and whistles and know what work looks like. Because Division II, man, it's a struggle, to be honest with you. And those kids that play Division II football understand what it means to be hard workers. And, typically those are the guys that come in and play for you early because they understand the work that has to be put in. And then they also understand the academic piece that has to be had as well, because a lot of them on the Division II level are on some type of academic money as well. So they got to maintain certain GPAs and maintain certain academic levels and standards to make sure that they don't fall below a certain standard to be able to obtain and secure those financial funds that's going to help them stay in school. So for me, man, if there's a student athlete that's out there that we feel can help our program and they're in the portal, I don't feel like there's a reason for us not to evaluate that player or those players to see if they would be able to help us in some capacity get the championship level.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Let me hit if you don't mind, Coach. If we got like maybe 5 more minutes, let me just filter through a few questions from the chat. The folks are asking offensive line. One of the things that we talked about the offensive line in spring, the numbers were short, but they did a great job. I mean, that group was probably, I would call them the MVPs, given what the expectations were, the numbers, what they performed. How many total offensive linemen, how's recruiting looking? How many are you expecting to have by the time fall camp comes around?
Well, for us, man, to piggyback on what you just said, I think they were the unsung heroes of the spring. You know, we started off with 9. At one point in spring, we only had 5. Towards the end of spring, we finished spring with about 7. But what I can tell you about that group of guys is they're gonna fight. And those guys, Coach Seawalk has found a niche in some of those guys. Because to be honest with you, are they the most talented? No, but their will to work and their will to give it all they got is all we can ask for. And that's what they did all spring long, because you got guys, we when we're in practice, man, we go. You're talking about over a total of probably 90 to 100 plays from a period standpoint, and then just different individual drills and things of that magnitude that they got to go through. So for them, man, you're talking about a group of guys that probably was the most conditioned guys at the spring on the team. Even though, you know, our cornerbacks and our receivers, they run every day at the practice, but there's nothing like getting those in-game like reps that they've been getting in practice that's going to help them in terms of their condition and making sure that they are ready to go at the tempo that we like to go. So for us, man, we signed 5 different linemen. And then we have a couple of walk-on guys that are very, very talented that we're going to be bringing aboard as well. So as of right now, from a number standpoint, we'll probably have somewhere around 14 offensive linemen that will come into camp, and we're hoping to bring in about 15 to 17. So we're still actively looking to bring in some talented offensive line to help us deepen that room in terms of depth, because we'd love to be 3 deep at the offensive line position. But you know, right now, obviously, that's a premium. These FBS schools are paying them guys that are marginal like they starters. So to be completely honest with you, man, we got to search high and low for some talent to bring in at the offensive line position. But I was very impressed with the fight that they showed. Was it always great? No, it wasn't. Let's be completely honest. But the fight that they showed and the will to put in the work was there, and that's what I'm most impressed with.
Okay, how about the other side? The couple folks asking about the defensive line. Any more defensive linemen signed coming in? What do we look like there?
Yeah, we got a couple of defensive linemen signed. The biggest name that we could talk about is Roger McFadden. That's coming from a state champion, Miami Northwestern. You know, he's a kid with a big personality, man, and for me, he's like a Warren Sapp of the high school football in terms of personality. Just a great kid, man. Overall, has a great personality. When he came on his visit, man, just fit everything that we're looking for in the defensive line room. He's gonna make sure that it's always fun. He's gonna make sure that it's always upbeat, and that's what we look for, man. We want guys that's gonna bring energy, because sometimes, man, you got to find energy from somewhere, and if one of your teammates gonna be able to give it to you, why not get it from him? You know what I mean? And I think as soon as he steps foot on campus, man, he just brings a different aura and a different. Because you know, let's just be honest. I'm from South Florida, so we know that South Florida football brings a different level of football to the table when it comes down to it. And I think his energy is going to be great for us. But we got a couple other guys that we've signed. Reggie Camille, that's out of Miami Northwestern. Our returning guys, we're excited about. Antonio Kamen, Mike Marshall, Caden Brown, who they've been talking about all spring long, who had a really good spring from Syracuse. So we're DJ, Daryl Jones, Mazio Randall. Those guys have really did a good job this past spring of setting the tone for us going into the offseason and making sure that, you know, once we get into our offseason workouts, we got some things that we can work with, some pieces to work with.
Are the JUCOs helping in any way? Are they supplying any players, or are you active in the junior college market? I mean, there's a lot of places that you can go to find guys, but how are junior college level helping?
Junior college levels are helping tremendously. You know, you just got to be able to find the talent because, again, those FBS schools are still searching JUCOs as well. I won't say that FBS level teams have gone away from high schools, but the JUCO kids, the transfers are what they're relying on heavily these days, to be honest with you. So where they may have in the past taken a high school kid over a JUCO kid to develop them, they're taking more JUCO kids that are more ready to play versus a high school kid these days because of the pressure to win and things of that magnitude. So while we're doing our due diligence and recruiting and going out to these JUCOs, you know, we run into the same situation when it comes down to the demand of just good football players. But we're doing our due diligence. We got a couple of guys that we have on our radar that'll graduate in May from JUCOs. So just be on the lookout for that because we'll probably end up signing a couple of those too.
Nice. Okay. You mentioned earlier about getting out on the tour and doing some fundraising.
Yep.
So question, does that mean there will be a strike tour? And,
no doubt. I got to go see my peeps, man. You know,
right.
let me help you understand what that Restore the Strike has done for us, man.
Okay.
Y'all,
okay.
I don't think they understand what start they got us off to. I think it was the Restore the Strike fundraiser, man, that Marvin Green helped come up with was tremendous for us in terms of a start. It allowed us to, right now, our lights are in the works to go on the practice field. We got our goalposts out on the practice field right now that are about to be installed, I think, this week. It's allowed us to go ahead and purchase, instead of renting, 2 of the lifts that we film from. So we won't have to rent those anymore. We purchased 2 of those. We're putting another storage area out on the practice field. So our equipment that we've just purchased, more equipment that we've just purchased is able to be stored and not left out in the elements so to last longer. So for us, man, what they've done, or what they did for us and continue to do with the Restore the Strike momentum has really set us move forward right now with certain things for the program. The branding around the building is starting to come together. We just got approved with the branding for the building. So we're working with a company to get the all-in and the service sacrifice and respect in and around the building, all around the building, so people will understand what our 3 pillars are and what our core values are when it comes down to the program. But the strike tour is definitely in the works, and I would hope that in the next week or so that we'll be talking a little bit more about that in terms of dates and cities that will be hitting. Myself, I think Coach Ward, Coach Gordon, Coach Pressure, and I think possibly a couple of other coaches as well.
Well, that's an all-star group out on tour, boy. I mean,
Hey, man, it's the who's who of coaching. I'm excited to be with an Olympian and Coach Gordon and a Heisman Trophy winner. Man, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this.
Hey, somebody needs to put a camera and follow you guys around, because that's a summer tour. That's a reality summer tour we like to see, boy.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, and you can tell the support that Coach Gordon got, man, with the Giving Day. I think she raised close to $20,000 in 2 days, man, and that's tremendous. You know, you don't see that a lot when it comes down to it, but $20,000 for her program is going to go a long way for her girls. her young women in terms of moving their needle forward as well. And she's done a tremendous job of getting some great recruits in and doing her thing on the recruiting trail. So I'm looking forward to what she does in the upcoming year as well.
And unless Marcus or Kelvin had any final things, I want to close it up with you, Coach, and with the draft starting tomorrow, going through Saturday. We know we've got some young men who they have an opportunity, I think, to play on Sundays coming up. What's been the process like as you've talked to maybe teams or you've talked to them? How have you maybe helped them navigate? Can you give us any background on what it's like for some of those guys who participated in Pro Day who are hopeful?
What I can do is speak from experience, because these next couple of days are probably going to be some of the most nerve-wracking days of your life, hoping and praying that you see your name across that screen. Maybe not so much day 1, day 2, but day 3 and day 4 are those days where you start getting a little bit antsy, right? Because those are the projected rounds, the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds that you get projected to be in, unless you're one of those upper guys that may be a 3rd or 4th rounder or even a 2nd or 1st rounder. But the opportunity, because sometimes that phone rings, you think it's somebody, and then somebody might be playing. It's one of those nerve-wracking times of year, especially for a football player that's hoping to hear his name called, man. But for them, it's an exciting time as well, because despite not getting drafted or seeing your name cross that screen, man, the opportunity to get just a chance to go and be a part of somebody's training camp or OTAs, and to put yourself in position to make a living for yourself is a tremendous thing in itself as well. So the scouts, they call, while I don't know a whole bunch about the guys that are eligible for the draft this year, I do know there's some interest that has been shown in those guys, and they have some talent to be able to go up and possibly compete on that level. So if their names are called, man, I'm looking forward to them representing Rattler Nation and FAMU football in the best way possible. So I'm rooting for them, despite them not being a player under me. They're still Rattlers. So I'm looking forward to supporting those guys and making sure we do what we need to do from a program standpoint to put them in the best situation to be successful.
Yes, sir. Kelvin, do you have anything you want to close with for Coach?
Just one, and it's real important to me. So, Coach, you talked about the money raised and how you using it to put into the program. I trust and I hope that you're good with your summer school and being able to bring your teams in.
Yeah. That okay. What I can say about that, because that was something that I made sure contractually. That was so. Right now, man, we got our names and we set to go. We've been talking as a department over the last couple of days of making sure that funding and all that good stuff is where it needs to be. Because this is what's going to set us in a trajectory that we need to go. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most. So what I'm gonna start doing, man, in terms of, like I said, I'm gonna be transparent with everything that we do. When we get these goalposts up and taking pictures and making sure Rattler Nation see where their money's going, when we get that concrete slab out there and they put that building out there, I'm gonna take pictures so y'all can see. And then once them lifts get here, we're gonna take pictures of that so they can see. Once the artwork and all that stuff, and then also, man, we're about to. We've never had recruiting carts, so we're going to utilize some of that money to purchase about 2 carts, golf carts for recruiting, because it's one of those things to be able to get these student athletes and their family in and around campus. And for them, we the highest of 7 hills, so walking ain't no option, So while it's an option for us, because we know what it's about, you got some parents that and grandparents that come on these visits that may need to get a ride wherever we're going to take them. So, that's just part of taking this program to the next level, man, because I'm just sick and tired of seeing these schools that we used to beat up on just fly by us, the Troys, the Appalachian States, and people like that, man. And we beat Troy 2 years in a row. There's no way they should be better off than we are right now. But that's neither here nor there. But we working to get to where we need to go, and we're gonna continue to put put that in the forefront.
Yes, sir.
Coach, you mentioned earlier the young man, the high school defensive lineman. What was the name again? Just want to make sure we have that logged in our.
Roderick McFadden, Miami Northwestern.
The other one.
You had a name, was Reggie Kimmel?
Yeah, Reggie Camille from American Heritage High School in Plantation.
Okay, got it. We got to keep up on the recruiting, Coach.
That's right.
We keep up. So
that's
that
right.
Way we got it in house. So all right. Hey, Coach, again, we always appreciate your time this evening. I know it's been a busy night for you, but man, we appreciate the work. Appreciate everything you were doing. The messaging is clear. We are focused. Eyes on the prize. Orange helmets down. We're ready to go, Coach. Ready
That's right.
to roll.
Like I said, man, I'm always saying, despite some of the disappointment, we're going to turn that disappointment into determination, man. I'm determined to take this program where it needs to go. And like I said earlier, let's go to work.
Gotcha.
Amen. Hubba.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, Coach. We look forward to seeing the news about the strike tour and the cities because, boy, I'm telling you, that's going to be exciting to see. So,
absolutely. Hey,
right,
Hubba Rattlers, love you dudes, man.
Hubba.
Thank you.
All right, Coach.
Man, good stuff. Woo. Good stuff.
Yeah, he brought some nuggets tonight, didn't
he? I'm telling you, all kinds of good stuff coming out. Yeah. All times of good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Great questions in the chats. Hey, you see where your money went, folks. You see where your money went.
Yeah. And I will do a video as this stuff comes in and so we have it on the ONG, do an ONG exclusive, and then put it out on our social pages.
Yeah. What is Edwin talking about? What was the plantation? What is he talking about? Down in Plantation, Florida? American Heritage? Isn't that where American Heritage is?
Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the high school, Edwin, is American Heritage. They are located in Plantation, Florida. Keep the jokes, because, yes, we know. It is what it is, right? All right. Do you want to take a short break or you got to keep or just go right into as we transition to I know Marcus had some recruiting stuff. Marcus, you want to take a second to get that set up? I can go to a commercial break.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a short break. Marcus has got some recruiting info he wants to share with the people. So we'll get that squared away. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. To right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. All right, as Marcus is getting his screens set up. So, yeah, he's trying to figure that out. Can we, while Marcus is doing that, Kelvin, man, I'm at a loss here. Don't know where to go for a particular reason. Very quickly, the Southwestern Athletic Conference announced today a partnership announcement that beginning or debuting in 2026 this fall. There will be the Black College Football Poll, the BCFP, and the Black College Football All-American teams will make their inaugural debut just in time for the start of the 2026 college football season, announced today. The Black College Football Poll and the Black College Football All-American teams have been formally endorsed and sanctioned by the two NCAA Division I conferences, that's the SWAC and the MEAC, along with the two NCAA Division II conferences, the CIAA and the SIC. That's huge. The Black College Football Poll will be conducted weekly throughout the regular season using a panel of head coaches and select media members. Each voter will submit a top 10 with a first place vote worth 10, second 9, and so on down to 1 point for 10th. In addition to the weekly poll, the voting body for each respective division will also vote and select a Black College Football All-American team, preseason and postseason. And that will consist of the top HBCU student athletes, first team and second team. Individual awards will also be awarded to the Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Freshman of the Year. The commissioners of the four HBCU conferences released this joint statement highlighting the significance of the newly created Black College Football Poll and the Black College Football All-American team. This is that synergy of the HBCU for us, that collective body that the commissioners, come together and have been meeting once a month. We're actually, and I know a lot of people in the past have talked about, well, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all doing? What are y'all planning? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is something that they have come up with. Your thoughts, Kelvin? Your thoughts on this new poll and All-American team?
Another move in the right direction. A lot of people don't remember the old Sheridan poll. used to be how the black college champion used to be determined. And before Sheridan, I can't remember the black newspaper. I think it was out of Carolina that crowned.
Well, there was always
champion.
the Pittsburgh. It was the Pittsburgh
Carrier. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Courier was the one of
the
originals. Yeah.
Yeah. So there should be. Hopefully, this will be the panel is all about the execution now, but I think with a mix of media as well as conference member athletic representation, it should be a more consistent and a more credible way of promoting our rankings, just like with the FBS, and they have the AP and the coaches poll. So I love the concept. I would think that at least one or two people from our network will be a part of that media panel. Some people who've been around for a long time and got credibility in this game and actually know the programs and who's good and who's not, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and I'm happy to see it.
And just to ease your mind, EA, no, it will never ever replace the BCSN national rankings, because those are computer generated rankings, not a poll. We are one of the few entities that do a ranking based on data, not feelings or perceptions.
Yeah, they were AI before AI.
And we were podcasting before podcast. So
right.
I mean, just one more thing that we were doing before everybody else started doing it. We just ain't figure out a way how to make no money off of it. That's all. So that's shame on us. Shame on us. That's the bad part. All right. So yeah, I look forward to telling more about that and seeing how that works out. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. But I think the big thing is the fact that it's endorsed by the
conferences. Yeah.
Meaning, I don't want to speculate. We'll just kind of put a pin on it and see what happens. Okay. Marcus, I think I see in the background has got some stuff ready. Marcus, are you ready to roll? Or do you want me to roll?
You're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute right now. You got two screens up, Marcus, so I don't know if I kick one out, and let me see. Hold on. Let me kick that out. Marcus. Yeah, for some reason you got two screens logged in.
How did I do that?
I don't know, but you did. So it's all good.
I think it's the software. If you log in on your computer, plus you logging in through the feed here, and then there's like when I post 2 times. If I log in on my computer, I post 3 times when I post in the comments. So it's got something to do with software.
Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. You want me to go ahead and add this to the stage? This one right here,
the green one.
Yep, there we go. Verbal commits and signees as of April 1, 2026.
And this is old. I haven't updated that date, but as you can see, when I was putting this together, I was in my R&B mood. So I got different titles for different things.
Oh Lord, hold on. Let me. I didn't even look at that. Let me zoom in. Let me make it full screen. Right here, SWV. I'm still waiting. Not Jodeci.
Hey.
I'm still waiting.
Hey, I'm getting the waterbed beads kind of vibe.
How did you get here? Deborah Cox, underrated. Good. Oh, not the guy. Goodbye, love. Okay, Marcus, look at this. You don't know my name? Orange Juice Jones, the rain. Woo!
So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and
Lord have mercy, yeah, because Jesus.
So right here is all the current players. So we might not, not the current players, but the players we've already reviewed. So I might go to that one real quick, see if there's anything.
I believe you're controlling this, right? There you go. Yep. You're controlling it. Boom, there we go.
So I'm gonna skip all the people, and they're green but these are old signees that we reviewed. Yeah, from the high school, from signing day. So we do have Mr. McFadden. He signed. Come on, now it's acting slow. Chase Gillespie. All these are people that we've seen. Now Armand Parker, he passed. Malik Denmark, both in spring practice. Taylor Smallwood, Isaiah Knowles, Chris Cotton. All right, pending signings at the time, but we don't know. So this young man who's, I'm assuming he's gonna come eventually. He also committed the same day from Thomas County Central, Jermaine Dennis. So we've had him on the list for a while. The post-signing day commits and signees. Jakari Leonard, I think we talked about him a little bit from or Jones Orlando High School. Amari Ford, these are two guys that signed on signing day and were kind of like after the fact, the big announcement. Out of West Boca Raton, Kendall McKenzie. And I do know that Coach mentioned that, there may have been some folks that left the spring practice. I don't know who's who. So I'm listing folks that we found. Transfer out of University of Memphis. And my presumption is that he may have had some experience with Coach Gray or someone on his staff, as a couple of them had experiences at the University of Memphis about 2 or 3 years ago, around the time he was a freshman. Michael Gosselin, I think that's the young man that Uncle Luke was hyping up and got signed. Malik Hope, he was one of our verbal commits from back in the fall, and he eventually signed. Anthony Bell out of Miami Northwestern. It's good to hear that at least 2 or 3 players from the South Florida area. So it didn't take long to start making connections down there. DeAndre Smith, he committed. Junior college player out of Lackawanna and Highland Community College. So he committed back in February 14th. This is someone new, Dante Howell. He verbally committed, came across this on social media a couple of days ago, end of last month. So I don't know. I guess we're just stacking up QBs because it seems like
Coach mentioned that in the conversation. He mentioned a QB. This must have been the young man.
Not sure, because there was another offer about a week ago to a transfer. So I don't know who he's speaking of. So we'll have to see. And I haven't had a chance to jump on their socials to see if they've proclaimed it. And this young man that committed, and I think he mentioned him as well, Jalen Blackwell out of Atlanta. And he's coming from Boston College.
Yeah, I saw his
class of 2021. I got to put that.
He looked like he was a DB, but you say he's a linebacker. Okay, I saw that.
Well, he started out, I think he was a DB, linebacker, running back in high school, but all of his playing time at Boston College was at linebacker.
Gotcha.
So I think that closes that out, and I'll try to get information on the new signee that and the decommitments. And I'll skip some of these, but here's some of the players that were committed to the previous staff. Didn't have a picture for him. People in no man's land, previous commits, status unknown. Actually, 2 local guys, I think, at least 1 local guy. This one, this is Enigma, because he committed. I haven't seen anything on social media that implies that we were in contact with him. And then like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw some advertisement from the Mercedes-Benz in Jacksonville saying congrats to him. And he was driving off in a Mercedes-Benz on his way to Tallahassee. So I don't know what's up.
Wow.
with this.
Okay.
Yeah. I have no idea.
We might just have, you know what, Marcus, we're getting to the point we might just gonna have to call the high school coach at the bowl school. You know, that's how they do it, right? We just go ahead and call his coach and find out. So what's the story with your guy? Where is he going?
Yep. Oh, now my computer's locking up. All right. Roster updates. These are the players. I usually try to, like when spring game comes around, it's like, okay, that's a name I haven't seen before. So to update everyone on that. And Jaden Altar, I hope I pronounced it right. I think he got an award for the spring practice. He's a DB.
He did. Got a most improved DB / cornerback group.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
So I saw his name actually pop up when Coach Gray was doing the Players of the Week. So his name popped up. So I noticed him as someone that we hadn't seen before, but he's another South Florida person.
Mm-hmm.
DeRoderick Hepburn, I think he got some accolades in the spring game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the young man who tore it up. Had a touchdown run. Looked really impressive.
Yeah. Look good.
Running back out of Leon High School, played at the Division III level, played for Huntington College in Montgomery, Alabama, and I guess decided he wanted to come home. And he graduated class of 2024, so he's a relatively young guy. Sheldon Jones, our lineman out of Bartow, class of 2023. I don't know if he was a preferred walk-on since a couple of years ago, but yeah, that was another name from the roster. Kamarion Bush, and actually I think he was offered a couple of years ago, coming out of JUCO, and he's out of Godby High School, but also played at Gadsden County. It's been the last 2 years at JUCO. Kingston Sutton, had to do some digging on him. His name was listed, but he's a linebacker out of Sandalwood High School. And Aaron Moore, I have to do a little more digging on him. That name was on the roster. And the closest, my assumption here is that it's reference to this particular player. He actually played a different position in high school, but he was listed at running back on the spring roster out of Gadsden County. He's a class of 2024 player. And that's all I have for football. There's a couple more names on the roster, but I haven't been able to find anything on those players, so I didn't want to put them up. And if you give me a quick sec, I'll see if I can switch over. I don't know if it's still sharing or if it went out. I can switch over to the Olympic sports.
Yeah, go ahead and do what you need to do.
All right. Oh, that was. Now let me see. Try to share if I can hit the right button. Show taskbar. Screen. Window.
While we wait on Marcus to get that pulled together. Hold on, there it is, Marcus. I see it.
All right, now let me try to get the other thing. The controls. I think that's it. So a lot of these we've covered. Rihanna Weaver out of Atlanta, signed for softball. And I'll go through the ones that are in black because once again, I use that color coding for people we've already covered. Aliana Stubbs out of Riverview, Florida. This is softball. Eliana Brinson. I haven't seen any new softball wins yet, but I'll have to go back and check because it's been a while. Volleyball, I don't think we have anybody new. But I know Coach said he's looking for at least one more, but I haven't seen any sign of that yet. Baseball's got a lot. And I haven't confirmed this one, but he committed almost 2 years ago. Nicholas Brown, Roman Zabala, we've seen some of these players. Christian Sheffield, Caden Johnson, Matt Altman. He actually sent me something on social media, said he's hyped about getting up here, and he's tearing it up down there for Gaither High School. Zaylin Hicks, Matthew Midnet, Ashton Brown, Reginald Bass.
Wow, we got a lot of people. That's a lot of commitments. How many guys are we losing this year?
I don't know, but baseball's got a ton.
Yeah.
Donovan Fox. I didn't take count, but it looks like at least 8 or 9.
8 or 9. I was going to go. I mean, you're up to about a dozen, Marcus. 8 or 9.
Yeah, I lost count.
You're up to about a dozen names, and you're still going.
We're losing a lot of pitchers, and then also you got to remember that baseball went from a equivalency sport where they were splitting scholarships to now now they got like 35. So
okay, and I think this is the last one I have recorded. I have to go back and look because I haven't been keeping up as well as I should. Track, we got a couple new ones. Malachi Dawson, we know. Zia Scott, we know. I haven't circled back to see if they signed, but these are verbal commitments. Rowan Calder, he actually competed at IMG, but out of Rochester, New York. And we may have covered this one already because this was early in March. Crystal Malekhan. Now, she just committed this week or late last week out of Lake Nona High School. I think she's middle distance, like 800, 400, and cross country. So she verbally committed. And this one just came yesterday. Mason Kelly. Now he's coming on because he's got a couple state titles, an individual and his team. And I think he just committed. Those sent this graphic. Racine sent this to me late last night or early this morning. So the men's track, you can see where Coach Ellenwood is starting to build up the men's track side to try to make sure we're competitive and in championship form on that side as well, and keeping the ladies up. Women's basketball, we actually got our signing last week. Kristen Johnson, who's like all world.
Alabama.
She won a state title. She won Class 6A Player of the Year. Her team's basically a juggernaut.
Right.
6A Player of the Year. Baller. That's what everyone. That's what the people in Alabama keep telling me. Baller.
But
yes. So she signed officially last week, and we know about Lily. And Coach Pressure mentioned her. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when she was on. And Leah Sims, and I know we had talked about her a teeny bit when she. The
coach came on a little bit.
But before that, where there was a connection between her and Shania McCarthy. They had an overlapping year. I think her freshman year at her previous college, I want to say Sierra Costa, was Shania McCarthy's second year. So they had at least one season together. And I know Coach Pressure was saying she was looking for one more player. Or Kelvin, you mentioned a commitment out of Atlanta, but I haven't found anything yet. So you can slip that to me when you get a chance.
And you got one more coming there, Marcus.
Men's basketball. I don't know.
Hold on, before you go to men's basketball, let me make mention, because we didn't. After our show, the next day, the news came out that Coach Gordon, the official word came out on Coach Gordon's contract extension, which very similar to what I thought it might be, where Coach got another year contract, and I believe there was an option for another additional year. I didn't read the details or catch the details. Is it how the options, Kelvin? Did you read anything regarding the options?
I have not seen the actual contract, but the way it was worded is a 1 year extension with a optional another year.
Okay. So if I had to again, I'm just my own personal speculation here. Probably, with the returners performance-based, and coach wouldn't want it any other way. Performance-based, where we probably, expect the team to, be 10 plus in the SWAC regular season. No worse than semifinals in the SWAC tournament. Just those kind of things. And let's be real, non-conference. I think with this many returners, you expect in some of those non-conference against other mid-majors, we expect to win some of those. So, but I'm just happy about the fact that none of those young ladies returning
absolutely
are in the portal. Portal is closed, by the way. Basketball portal is closed. Yeah. So the fact that we lost no women's basketball players to the portal after what we saw the last 2 years, I mean, again, kudos to what Coach Gordon has built.
That's a good sign.
And the messaging, it's a great sign. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, men's basketball, which we have quite the opposite. We got a lot of openings in men's basketball.
Yeah. Jaden Joseph, he signed back in November. And we had a recent commitment, Chandler Davis, out of Wharton High School, playing for Hillsborough Community College. So he recently committed the 17th, which was, Friday? Yeah. So that came through. I haven't seen anything else, but we're having a couple of players leave. Actually, I just saw it just before we came on air that true freshman Anthony Knowles put his name in the portal. And it looks like
well, Coach told us, look, we did the math, right? We did the math last week. There were six exhausted eligibility players. Mm-hmm. Now, Caleb Washington, we thought was one of those. And then you saw the announcement that he's in the portal, but I think he's one of those guys that's kind of looking to see what the NCAA may do.
I think that's the case.
So maybe he has eligibility, maybe he doesn't. But
right.
And then you had already, when we talked to Coach Ward, we knew that there were 2 guys who were already in the portal, so that was 8. And then we come to find out a little bit later, Knowles and another kid, so that was 10.
Well, Coach said he had 3 players.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going. Yeah. I was going to do the math backwards and say, Coach told us there was only 3. So it is what it is. But I love the 3, especially 2 of the 3, with the 2 bigs. We still have the 2 best bigs in the SWAC, in my opinion.
I agree. And Baker is a really good 2 guard for sure.
Yeah.
For women's tennis, Jahari Gorham, we knew about her from back in the fall. Arian Thomas, she's the sister of our current. I don't know if that's her sister or if they have a third sister that's sitting on the far left in the image, but she's the younger sister of our true freshman, Alnea Thomas. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So Arian Thomas. And I don't know anything for golf. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Can we make mention, since you kind of ended there with golf, or with tennis rather, our women's tennis team in the SWAC tournament playing Southern in the opening round did manage to beat Southern and eliminate them 4-1, which we lost to Southern in the regular season.
4-3, right?
Yeah, so that was good to see them win that, and then they advanced to the semifinals, where they faced the number 1 seed regular season champs, Jackson State. They lost to JSU 4-1, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and then JSU ended up losing to Alabama State. So Alabama State Hornets end up winning. I think they won the men's too, so they ended up getting.
They did. Yep.
Yeah, they got the tennis sweep.
Yeah, the men have won 5 in a row.
Yeah, juggernaut. So the tennis season, I think the tennis season is
It is for us.
It is complete right now. So, I think who was our lone? Did we have just one senior, if I'm not mistaken? Was that Reagan?
Maybe two. I think we had two.
Reagan and what's the other young lady?
Victoria Rodriguez. Genesis Whitelock.
Genesis Whitelock.
Genesis, yeah.
Yeah. So Reagan Harris, who was definitely a key member of our championship teams. Genesis was also a part of it too. Remember when both of them kind of came in as true freshmen?
Yep.
So, definitely salute to Reagan and Genesis on a great. I'm assuming their career is over. I don't know that to be a fact. I just know they've been a part of the Timmins program for 4 years. So, if a fifth year gets, if there becomes a fifth year, I guess maybe they'll take advantage of it too. But congratulations to them. Champions, no doubt, been a part of 2 tennis championship teams, going to the finals 3 years. And then, of course, there's a grad student, Veronica Rodriguez, who was a part of the championship team last year. I think she kind of came in a couple years ago from Maracaibo, Venezuela. And so she's a grad. But everybody else on the team, sophomores and freshmen.
Yeah.
So, Coach Nikki's reloading with the youngsters, and we'll see what they look like next year. They're going to be in it. They're going to be in it to win it next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to Coach Nikki and Coach Wade.
Yep.
Kind of a reloading season, but we know they do a great job, and they're going to reload.
Yep. Exactly.
Track and field, they made some big headlines at the Tom Jones Invitational down there in Gainesville, as the track and field really shined at the Tom Jones. Tiana Adams continues to rewrite the Florida A&M record books. She ran a 13.18 in the 100-meter hurdles, which was second. She finished second in that meet. Adams's record-setting run capped a dominant day for FAMU's women sprinters and hurdlers, who combined for multiple personal bests against a field that featured some of the top programs. Did you even see the 4x1 featuring Shikari? Did you see that 4x100? They were at the Tom Jones.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw, because I saw a clip of Shikari and the 4x100 over the weekend, and they were running at the University of Florida track, and I'm like, okay, that's Tom Jones. So
there was pros there. Because I know on the men's side, what's the American sprint champion, Noah? He was there.
Oh, okay.
Noah Lyles or whatever.
Yeah, Noah Lyles. Yeah. That 4x100 team with Shikari and again, the other young ladies, but I know Shikari she's the anchor. They ran like I don't want to say it wasn't a world record, but it was pretty damn impressive. From what I saw.
Our 4x1 was pretty daggum impressive too.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they ran the second fastest time in school history.
Yeah. DeAndre Gaines
killing it
at 11.23 in the 100, establishing a new personal record. She vaults to number 2 on the all-time FAMU performance list in the 100 meters.
Yep.
Unreal. In the 400 meters, Kira Copeland had a 54 flat, while Amani Kirkman had a 54.92, both times reflecting FAMU's depth in the quarter mile this spring. So,
the track team on the men and women's side looking very, very poised to compete for championships for sure.
Yeah, they got one more meet before the SWAC championship, and that's going to be in Jacksonville next weekend, May 1st and the 2nd. They'll be in Jacksonville, so at the East Coast Relays. So if you're in the Jacksonville area, if you want to get over to University of North Florida, go check out the FAMU track and field team. And then in a couple of weeks after that, the SWAC championships in Baton Rouge, May 10th and through the 12th.
Bryan, we on both teams, we have very few seniors for track. And I just, on our women's side, man, with what they're doing this year, I just can't imagine what they're going to look like next year when they get the fastest woman in SWAC back competing with what we already got coming back. Oof.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have. I think we may have an opportunity at some All-American status at the NCAA next year for sure.
You might be right, Kelvin. We might.
And ain't ruling out this year.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go to the diamond for our last two sports for the night. Let's start with the softball team. The Rattlers.
Darn shame what they did to the Devil.
The Devil is a lie. Don't call them a rival. Outscored Valley 47-4 over the course of 3 games. 19-2, 12-1, 16-1.
All 5 innings games too, I think.
Wow. Unfortunately, came back on Tuesday for the midweek game against Troy University, lost 9-0.
Yeah, it looked like we used some of our pitching depth because we're gearing up for a big weekend.
Yes, indeed. So as many of you know, this upcoming weekend, it's FAMU versus JSU. The winner of this series will have a say and most definitely can win the SWAC East Division. For FAMU, it'll be an opportunity to win a 3rd consecutive East Division. Jackson State, of course, is looking to win their 3rd consecutive SWAC tournament. So a lot on the line this weekend. FAMU comes in with a conference record of 17-4. Jackson State with a 15-5 conference record. They also have a makeup game that they still have to play. So
against Alabama State.
Coach
P.
So, yeah.
Get him, Coach P. Get him.
Yeah, exactly. Coach P. Get him. Get him, Coach. It'll help us out. Most definitely. So the only scenarios, if let's see, with the way the margins are right now, we are a 1.5 game lead. If we win 2 of 3, we will win.
East champs, right?
We're the East champs. If we don't win that and avoid being swept, which I don't see us getting swept at home, I'd be shocked.
It's not gonna happen. It ain't possible.
Then you potentially, then it would come down to that Alabama State Jackson State game as to whether Jackson State would have an opportunity to tie in the East with us or not.
Right.
So, yeah, we're not even going to go over tie-breaking scenarios because they still have. We can, if it presents itself, we'll mention it next week. But right now, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. We locked in on trying to beat JSU. Hell, sweep their ass personally. Do what you can, ladies.
I saw y'all was hyping up the West on Doc Show last night.
Well,
I'm still non-believer, but we'll see.
I understand it. I mean, our eyes tell us one thing about the West, but from a metric standpoint,
it's all about who you play.
Prairie View has best RPI rankings.
And when Drew said it, that surprised me because I've looked at their schedule and I've looked at our schedule. And while they schedule okay, I'm not saying they ain't like Jackson State or out of conference or some of the other SWAC schools. They did schedule some mid majors and stuff, but their schedule wasn't more difficult and challenging than who we scheduled. But
the numbers disagree with you, Kelvin. I understand what you're saying, but the numbers, the metrics, because they're overall. Look, they have 17 wins now. They're short a series right now. They are short. They have to make up a series. Their conference record is 17-1. Ours is 17-4. Their win-loss overall record, we have 26 overall. They have 25. But again, they're missing a series against somebody, which they'll have to make up possibly. Well, I don't even know if they have to make it up because they've already clinched the West 1 seed.
Right.
So they may not even have to make
it. Depends on the teams they got to play. Do they need that in order to move up in the standings, which is probably going to be the case. So they probably going to have to play it.
Yeah. It was the Arkansas Pine Bluff series that was postponed. So if Pine Bluff, which right now, Pine Bluff is they're teetering because of four seeds. Yeah, they're teetering right now on that 4 West spot.
So they probably got to play it to see.
Probably got to play it, but Arkansas Pine Bluff is bad. So
yeah,
Arkansas Pine Bluff could essentially eliminate themselves if they lose this weekend, and then it becomes a moot point.
Yeah.
But what I found fascinating in looking at the metric numbers about the West, Prairie View Southern and Texas Southern all have better RPIs than FAMU. That was surprising to me,
that was to me too.
Yeah. And then Howard is in there, who, we split against Howard. So
right. But a 1 point win, 1 point loss. Yeah. But I tell you what, Texas Southern was in there with baseball too until they stopped playing. As I said it would happen when they stopped playing the better competition. Their schedule was backloaded with a stronger team, so I figured it would fall. And of course, it's a big series coming in Tallahassee.
Yeah, indeed. So again, the softball times Friday, it's 6:00 Eastern at Veronica Wiggins Field at the University Softball Complex. Then on Saturday, the doubleheader begins at 1:00 with the senior day festivities possibly taking place between games, with the final game being at 3:00. All the games will be on SWAC TV. So if you can't make it to Tallahassee, which this is a great weekend again to get to Tallahassee. I mean, the Visitors and Conventions Bureau should thank me. Visit Tallahassee. Should send me, give me a hotel room for promoting the hell out of being in Tallahassee this weekend for another week. It's a great week to get up to Tallahassee because not only do you get a chance to see the softball team take on Jackson State, but you get a 1 versus 2 matchup over at Moore Kittles between Bethune-Cookman and FAMU. Doesn't get any better than that, fellas.
Yeah. Champions will be crowned.
Yeah. So let's. So here's what's at stake. Obviously, we're on the back end of the series schedule. So 6 series have been played so far. This is series number 7 of 10. Right now in the standings, Bethune's in first place. FAMU's tied in first place. Texas Southern lost some games over the past weekend, so they dropped to 2 games behind us and Bethune.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Southern, and Grambling to round out the top 6 teams. Let's look at the tail of the tape, gentlemen, because I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. I broke it down. I got 2 tail of the tapes here. Let's take a look at it from the hitting comparison. Now, this is just in terms of the conference breakdown, right? The conference games only. There have been 18 conference games played. You can see the batting averages. Bethune's hitting 336. We're hitting 310. Runs are practically the same, although we do have more hits over the course of that season of the 18-game schedule so far. And we've got 3 more home runs. Could probably thank Jackson State for that because we're keying off on them. RBIs, too. The 162 RBIs to 158 also. Now, Bethune has drawn more walks than we have thus far in conference games. We have struck out more. The on-base percentage, Bethune slightly higher. The one stat that caught me, fellas, and I think this will be an interesting play, the stolen bases and attempt. They have attempted and stolen twice as much as we have. 39 of 50 for Bethune, 16 of 22. That's going to be interesting to watch this weekend.
Yeah, especially combined with the walks. So you walk somebody, and I don't know their lineup, but you're putting somebody on base who could potentially steal second base or steal third base.
Yep. So they are a very aggressive team on the base pads. So we have to do a great job of putting them on the base pads for free. You know, we have to really take care of that. Now, the other stat, I also did a pitching comparison in conference games. Now, let me just run through what I think may be the lineup for games 1, 2, and 3. Now, one of the things that I noticed, fellas, Bethune has had some series this year where they have sort of played around with their food. I'll use that pun. They've lost game 1 of 3 series this year, right? And I noticed those losses are directly attributed to games in which they didn't start Edwin Sanchez, who is probably their 1A or their ace pitcher. I would expect, I don't know this to be true, but I would expect for Friday to see a matchup between Edwin Sanchez, who is 5-0 in conference games, against our number 1, Caleb Granger, who's 3-1 in conference games. That's the likely 1v1 matchup for, and those two met earlier in the year, fellas, back at the Jackie Robinson event.
Incoming message.
That was a 6-2 ball game in which, hold on, I was just looking at the box score in that game because that was a 6-2 game in Vero Beach. Caleb Granger versus Edwin Sanchez. Granger pitched 4 2/3 innings. He got rocked a little bit, gave up, got hit 9 hits, 6 runs, 6 of them earned. He did strike out 8 though, in 4 2/3. Sanchez for them was pretty dominant. He pitched 8 innings, only gave up 1 hit and 1 run, 1 earned, struck out 7, walked 1. So it was a pretty dominant day for their number 1. But that was early in the season, though, guys. You know, Caleb was, you know, what we only played about 3 or 4 games prior to that, and this is Caleb who's coming off of Tommy John. So he looks to be in better form this time of the year than he did back in February. So we'll just put an asterisk or a pin by that earlier matchup. The number two,
we weren't hitting it. We weren't hitting either.
No, because we only played like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, we were still tinkering around with the lineup. Our offense looked like our offense now. And the only thing I'll point out, Brian, the stats look like I thought it would, but what I would point out is that our schedule was front loaded, their schedule was back loaded, and here's what I mean. Alabama and Mississippi Valley State are like the worst teams. And that's who they, in Prairie View, that's who they kind of played so far. The only team you consider competitive at this point that they play, because they don't play Texas Southern, is Southern. So their season ends with us, Pine Bluff, Alabama State, and Grambling. That's Bethune-Cookman's remaining games. So
Pine Bluff, Southern, and Grambling. You said they do play Southern?
They already played Southern, but they end the season with Pine Bluff, Alabama State, and Grambling.
Well, so I wouldn't call those pushovers.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, we got just challenging the schedule down the stretch.
We got Alabama A&M who ain't gonna beat nobody. And,
that might be the one series, but the other series are challenging based on what I see. Could be
Texas Southern, Grambling. We'll see.
Anything you guys see in the pitching comparisons before I go and talk about the day 2 or day 3 starters? Anything?
No, that's about right. They pitching has been a little more consistent than our pitching this season. Yeah. Starting pitcher.
Yeah. Day 2, which would be Saturday, most likely would be a matchup between Tanner Bacabello and Garrett Workman. Bacabello is 5-0 in conference games. Garrett Workman is 3-1. So Garrett has pitched well of late, especially in conference games. Now, the day 3 starters are kind of interesting. And again, the young man from them, Harbor Sting Abreu, he's 2-2 in conference games. But again, I mentioned when they lost the game 1 of a series, they started him on day 1 and then came back with Sanchez and Bacabello. I don't think Coach Hernandez is going to play around with his food. I'm going to have to text him and ask him. I don't think he's going to play around with his food. I know he watches the show. So, Coach, just we're looking forward to seeing you put your best out there on day 1. But
no, Coach, sit him.
Start Abreu. Start Abreu in game 1. See how that works out.
No, sit all them good players you got down, Coach. You don't need them for the series.
Hey, look, they got too many pitchers. I saw they pitched a bullpen game the other day against UCF, and they looked pretty good. But anyway, for us, it'll be Jesus Campa. Jesus Campa is 2-0 in the conference games, but Campa doesn't go many innings. So it's almost like if Campa starts, because total he's only pitched 27 innings pitched over the 6 games. So I mean, doing the math here,
this series is gonna come down to pitching, Brian. And specifically, Marcus alluded to it. We can't put runners on base by walks, because Bethune is gonna make you pay. They got power. They're gonna hit the ball. They're good hitters. They're gonna get some hits. What we want is when they get their hits, the base paths to be empty. So that's what I'm looking at. It's going to be the key to the game. If our pitchers can keep the walks down.
Yep, most definitely. So there's your breakdown of the game. I know a lot of folks around the SWAC are talking about it. It'll be well covered. I'm sure it'll be well attended. You'll see some other media folk there. Yeah, so there's a couple of good matchups in the SWAC going on this weekend. This will be a good weekend in SWAC baseball to kind of see how it plays out. But I think this is FAMU baseball's moment. I think, if you think back to last year, we came into that series against Bethune in a similar point where I think we were tied for first place last year. And they got us. They swept us over there in Sanford. And so this will be a huge game for us. I hope the boys are ready and that the pitching is great.
We ready. Let's get ready to rumble.
Kelvin's confidence. I love it. All right. Anything else left out there that we didn't get to, fellas?
No, I don't think so. We down to our last 3 sports for the year: baseball, softball, and golf.
And track.
Oh, and track. That's right.
Yeah. So still a couple chances to win some championships this spring.
Mm-hmm. So
we'll keep supporting, and we'll go forward from there. All right. That's going to do it for tonight's show, folks. Make sure to reach out and thank Coach Rice and Coach Gray for taking some time out to come on the show. Hope you enjoyed those segments, got a chance to learn something new, as we always do whenever we have our coaches on.
Want to send prayers out to Vaughn Wilson too. He lost his mom, and I think the funeral's Friday. But I already reached out to him last week when I got her find out about it. But yeah, Vaughn, may God continue to strengthen you during this time, and we love you, brother.
Yes, indeed. Might even be another mention next week, but some news that I got during the show that hit me a little heavy. But whenever you get a chance, all I can do is say, hey, reach out to, if you're thinking about somebody, reach out to them. If you're thinking about somebody, pray for them. Keep your friends in your prayers. There have been some rattlers that have touched the hearts of a lot of people that have, they've had some celebrations of life lately. So just keep your friends and your family in your thoughts and your prayers. And let's all try to keep moving forward together as best as we can. And so with that said, I appreciate everybody for following us on all the social media handles at ONG StrikeZone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can donate via Cash App, or you can leave a super chat if you're on the JBN online feed. Go download the BCSN Pod Zone, where you can catch all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network. That's BCSN Pod Zone, available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. So that's going to do it for tonight. For Marcus Green, did a great job, Marcus, with the recruiting info. Sorry we had the audio issues there with Coach Gray, but we worked through it. And for Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thank you, everybody, for watching the ONG Strike Zone. Share our show with the family. Good night. God bless. And strike, and strike again.
Go Magic.
Oh. Lord have mercy.
Oh.